It's enough money out here for us all to win. You know what I'm saying? So tonight, one of the things I want to talk about is creating a wealth culture in our family. Like, that has to be important, right? So for a lot of us, we already know that, we are going to be the first people in our family that's going to even phantom the idea of what it is to accumulate wealth and to acquire wealth and to be wealthy. You feel what I'm saying? So that's going to be us. A lot of us, we are the first generation millionaires. A lot of us, we are the wealth standard for our families, right? So what we have to do is we got to start putting a culture together in our family. We got to start creating a wealth culture in our family. We got to start being the quarterbacks. We got to start. I want you to write this down. You already know trap or attire is required, right? I want you to write this down, right? Right? We have to start creating the wealth culture in our family, right? And we do that by doing a few things. One, we're going to set some guidelines. We're going to set some guidelines of what wealth is. So let's talk about some guidelines, right? So one of the guidelines is, we're not going to really let society dictate to us what wealth is, right? We have to start visualizing what wealth is for us. You feel what I'm saying? So let's start setting these guidelines for ourselves. And what are the guidelines for us to attain wealth? The next thing we need to do is start having a vision for what the wealth is. Let's put a vivid vision together for what wealth is for us, right? The guidelines are going to help us attain it, and the vision is going to help us see what it is. See, what happens is, for me, one of the guidelines I had was I was saving 70% of my bread. Like, when I was working, I was saving 70% of my bread. I was living off 30% of my income, and I was investing like 70% of my money. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the things I was doing. The second thing is I understood what the wealth looked like to me. So for me, I'm not going to lie, unlike everybody else that was, doing a lot of other things, to each his own. To me, the biggest thing for me, I'm going to be real. The biggest thing for me was I had a newborn, and I wanted to be around her as much as possible, right? And so because I wanted to be around her as much as possible, I said, okay, then what has to happen is I got to get off these people's job. You know what I'm saying? I got to get off these people's job because they're going to be telling me about when I can take off, which I ain't never care about it. But at the same time, you know how they look at you all funny. You know what I'm saying? No, I've been living by myself for my whole life, yo. Since I was 16, yo. I lived by myself. The problem is I knew I wasn't caught up into what everybody else was doing. Right? I knew I had a bigger mission. So the reason why some people can't live off 70% of their income, and I was blessed because I was doing ironwork. So I was making about $2,500 a week. You know what I'm saying? But I was working 6-7 days a week, 10-12 hours a day. Danielle on here, she knew. You know what I'm saying? I was working 6-7 days a week, 10-12 hours a day, bringing home like $2,500 a week. You know what I'm saying? But what happened was I was like, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can easily just go blow this money, you know what I'm saying? And I can go blow this money and I can do this and that and try to do what everybody else doing, but I ain't do that. You know what I'm saying? I had just finished, I had got found out guilty. I was straight off the trap. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to do both. So what I did was I'm like, all right, I don't need all this to live off of. You know what I'm saying? I don't need all this to live off of. So I was literally living off 30% of my income. You know what I'm saying? I was literally living off 30% of my income and literally saving the rest of it, investing it, putting it up. I started my daughter custodial account. I was investing, because I had the vision. And what I said for me was this. They say a minimalist. I really was. And one of the things I said was this. I said, in order for me to get off these people's job, I got to buy back my time. I got to buy back my freedom, right? So that's what the wealth looked like for me, right? The wealth, it was different for me, right? It wasn't about acquiring a whole bunch of stuff. It was about me having the freedom to be with my little one. You know what I'm saying? It was about me owning my 24 hours. That was more important to me than anything else. You feel what I'm saying? So I knew in my mind, every investment that I made, lady contractor, was good, queen, right? Yes, I was making that. But I wasn't always making 120 a year. You know what I'm saying? Even when I was making less than that, I still was able to live off that. Don't get caught up in, how much money that was. Ask yourself this question. A lot of stuff that I'm buying right now, do I need it? You know what I'm saying? Do I need it? A lot of the things that I'm buying right now, ask yourself, do you really need it? You know what I'm saying? Or is it something you want? That's a big difference from what you need and what you want. You looking at, oh, well, Trap, you was making 10K a month. All right, every month I wasn't making it. You know what I'm saying? Before I got on some of them jobs, I was making less than that. But I still had the same concept. The problem is, a lot of people, what happen is, the more money you make, the more money you won't spend. You feel me? That's the more money you make, the more money you won't spend. So I'm gonna give you a dope example, right? I'm gonna give you a dope example. I know some dudes who did iron work with me who was living check to check. They was living check to check. So if you make 120 a year, but you spending, 100, after the 120 a year, you still got to take out tax, so you're probably making 70, right? But even if you make 70 a year, if you spending 80 a year to live, then you ain't making no money. So if you make 50 grand a year, 60 grand a year, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a year, if you learn how to minimalize, be a minimalist, at least until you can get to the next level, you can then acquire and achieve the things you want to achieve in this life. You feel what I'm saying? That's one of the things that we don't know how to do. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how to say, man, let me learn how to live, without all of the things right now. Let me take this whole year and say, I'm going to be real with you. I done went a whole year without going out, without doing nothing. I done did that before. Work out, eat, come home, chill. Boom, hit the city, go see my daughter, hit back, go back to work. I did that for a year at a time, straight, not doing nothing. We not ready to make them sacrifices because we feel like we missing out. And as long as you feel like you're missing out, you'll never get where you need to be at, because the world going to always come up with something. The world going to always create something new. It's always going to be another pair of shoes. It's always going to be another set of clothes. It's always going to be a new whip. It's always going to be this new thing that's going to come out. It's never going to stop. So why not say, let me chill right now so I can get where I need to be, in the next year, 2-3 years, right? Let me live now the way that other people won't live, so I can live later how other people can't live. You feel what I'm saying? Because everybody ain't willing to make the sacrifices to achieve wealth. You got to have them seasons, right? This is what a lot of people want to do. A lot of people want to plant the seed and eat it the next day. You ain't going to never do that. You got to plant the seed, nurture the seed, water the seed, till the soil. That's the part right there. See the tilling the soil part? That's the part. The planting the seed is even easy. The watering the seed is even cool. But see, tilling the soil, that's when you putting in the work. See, when you tilling it, when you flipping the soil upside down, when you bringing it in, that's the part that's going to take you to the next level. That's the part that people don't want to do. That's the part. And then see, after you till the soil, then you got to water it again. And you got to nurture it again. And then the seed starts to blossom. And then once the seed blossoms, you don't eat the seed then. You still got to keep tilling the soil. You still got to keep nurturing the seed. You got to let the thing blossom, come into fruition. That's when we do that. And then what happens is, after the tree bears the fruit, right? We eat the fruit and we take the seed, plant it again, and redo it again. It don't stop. And so since then, I've continued to do the same thing. I've went through the seasons. We don't want to go through the seasons. We think once the seed blossom, boom, I could just eat all that fruit. Now you ain't got no more tree. It's a cycle that it has to be repetitious. You feel what I'm saying? So one we got to do is we got to create the guidelines to create the culture in the world, in our family, right? We have to create the culture, the wealth culture in our family. 2, we got to set the guideline. 3, we got to have the vision. 4, let's make the goals attainable for ourselves. Let's show the family that it's attainable. We know what type of people we are. Let's just be real with ourselves, right? Let's be real. Let's be real with ourselves. We know the type of people we are. We got to see it. And I ain't mad at you because we done been sold so many whoop tickets. Man, let me see what you're doing, fam. Let me see it. Show it to me. Okay, cool. If I want you to buy into something, if you want to create a new culture into your family, you know what you got to do? You got to show them what you're doing is feasible. You got to show them what you're doing is real. You got to show them what wealth look like. The only way I can tell y'all to start investing in the stock market is if I had to show people what wealth looked like to me. I had to show people that I was really investing. I had to show people, yo, y'all probably just starting, but even when I first, up until like my first, every week I would go to the bank and show people, here go my 70%. Here go my 70%. Here go my 70%. Here go, if people who been trapping with me when I first started this brand, when I first started this page, I was doing that. Here go the money in my daughter account, in her investment account. Here go the here go the money in my account. Here go the investments in my daughter account. Here go the investments in my account. Here go the investments. Every week I kept doing it. It didn't stop. So we got to create the culture of wealth. We got to set the guidelines for what wealth really is. We got to make the wealth vision. We got to make the vision. And then we got to set goals that's attainable. We got to show our people that this is attainable. A lot of us, again, like I said, we the first generation of our culture that's literally introducing our families to wealth. So we got to show them what it look like. We got to show the family what wealth look like. We got to show the family what investing look like. We got to show the family what saving to invest look like. We got to show them. We got to show them that, family. We got to show them that. Because here's the dope part about all of this as well, that we got to understand too. The more seeds we plant, the more we create the culture, then what happens is when you die, them investments don't go away. When you die, them stocks still keep running. They still pay dividends. They still keep increasing. But when you die and then you've created the wealth culture, now what happens is this. The next generation, your wife, your husband, your kids' kids, everybody now has adapted the mindset and the culture of keep generating wealth. This is how we change our last name into an asset. It's something I've been saying for the longest. We turn our last names into an asset by creating a culture of wealth in our families, yo. And we got to put in the work. We got to put in the work. And we got to ask ourselves, what is work really? Right? So work can be one or two things. Work can really be the activity of you earning money. Or work can be the activity of you completing your mission. Or it can be a mixture of two. You earning money and completing your mission and achieving your mission. I personally would want it to be a heavy dose of number two, me of completing my mission. Because if you just working to earn money, you're going to get burnt out. This is why you see people switching from thing to thing, this and that. Because the process it takes for you to achieve a goal is more fun than is more fulfilling than you actually achieving a goal. Most people don't know that. Most people don't know that. Most people don't know that. This is why I love researching companies. Because when I research, but when it do come for me to execute, boom, I'll be like, damn, that ain't make me feel like I thought it was going to feel. I mean, my research paid off, man. Let me go research some more. The process that it takes you to achieve the goal is more fulfilling than actually achieving the goal. Because when you achieve the goal, now everything you went through to get there now comes like, damn, I went through all that to get here. Yeah, now your story comes from it. Now your story comes from that. And now you don't mind replicating the process because you know what it took to get you there. You feel what I'm saying? I'm addicted to the process. I'm going to be real with y'all. I love the process. I love when things not going right for me because now I get to think. I love to be a thinker. I like to see it, map it out, draw it out. I love to be the thinker. I love the process. The process is where you build character. The process is where you put it together. The process is where you get frustrated. The process is the beautiful part. You feel me? And that's why I love investing, because every investment, every stock that before I pull a trigger, I done did so much research on it. I done fell in love with the process of looking at the CEO, how long they've been paying dividends. The process is what I love. Because if you stay dedicated long enough, you're going to achieve the goal regardless. I'm gonna just put that out there. If you work out enough, you're going to get the body you want. You got to love the process. right? If you say, I'm going to go be an entrepreneur, if you dedicate yourself to the process long enough, you're going to become a full-time entrepreneur because you're going to learn enough during the journey. You got to love the process. You gotta love that part, and that's the part that people don't love. That's the part that makes people cop out. That's the part that break people down because they don't want the process. You just want to look at Trap. You want to look at Ronnie Brown. You want to look at this person. You want to look at that person. You see the end result. You like, I want that, but you don't want the process. You don't want to research the company and say, man, Trap, you waited 3 years to buy Chipotle? Yeah, I waited 3 years, fam. I waited 3 years to get that thing. You feel me? But when I did get it, I got it at $425 and that thing shot to $1,300. I enjoyed the process. So when I know that type of stuff can happen, you know what that made me do? I'm going back in the lab because now I'm going to wait for another one to do that. And I'm going to keep doing that because I'm patient. But you got to create the wealth culture in your family. If your family ain't never knew what wealth was like, if your family, I don't know about y'all, but my family don't come from money. Right? So I got to be the one. I made the conscious decision. I'm going to make the sacrifice. You know what? I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to start the business, right? I'm going to go through the process. I'm going to go through man, I'm about to quit. No, I ain't. Man, I'm about to go back to work. No, I ain't. I'm going to be the one to do that. So now the generations after me don't got to go through that. They can already have the opportunities. They can already have situations presented to them where they can make the choices. Where at 14, 15, they ain't got to worry about, well, go help. You can't do what you want to do because you got to help the family with bills. Or I need you to do this. Or I need you to do that. You feel what I'm saying? So it's the process that takes us there. And so let's talk about now how we transfer income into wealth. Right? We got to transfer income into wealth. We don't just come into the wealth. We got to transfer the income into wealth. So you know you're going to have the earned income. We already understand we're going to have earned income. We understand what that is already, right? It's the money you make. Whether it's active or passive, you got to have earned income. But now what we need to do is we need to take the active or the passive income and transfer it to an investment. For me, again, it was the stock market. You feel me? For me, it was the stock market. I said, okay, I'm busting my tail on this job. Let me take this earned income and turn it into an investment. And then what happens is the investment then produces its own seeds. You feel me? The investment then produces its own seeds, whether it's another stream of income or whether it's equity that continuously increases. Now, the investment has branched off into two different ways.